हाल ही में शिल्पा शेट्टी पहुंची बीबीसी अर्थ की फर्स्ट एनिवर्सरी सेलिब्रेशन पर, जहां पर शिल्पा शेट्टी का दिलकश अंदाज देखने को मिला। बता दें कि यहां पर शिल्पा काफी खूबसूरत नजर आ रही थी, जहां पर आप शिल्पा की वीडियो हमारे इस रिपोर्ट में देख पा रहे होंगे कि शिल्पा कितनी ही खूबसूरत लग रही हैं। बता दें कि सर्जरी के बाद शिल्पा को लेकर ये कहा जाता है कि शिल्पा और भी ज्यादा खूबसूरत हो गई हैं। अपनी खूबसूरती के साथ साथ शिल्पा ने इस मौके पर क्या कहा, आइए देखते हैं।
First and foremost, very good afternoon to everyone, and I have to welcome Dr. Michael Mosley to our country. Or should I even say that, because you belong to India? I feel
yes,
you were
born out here.
हाँ, वो यहाँ पे पैदा हुए कलकत्ता में, और परवरिश उनकी abroad हुई है. But I feel very happy that he believes in Indian food and the power that Indian foods have, and he propagates that with whatever little I've read about him,
yeah,
seen of him. I love the fact that there is someone out there in the West who's propagating Indian foods, and I welcome that. So welcome to India.
Thank
back
you.
again.
Yes.
And also have to take the opportunity to congratulate Sony BBC Earth on completing a year and being the #1 channel. Wow. So yes, I really believe that most people underestimate the power of food, and a lot of people think that hitting the gym is enough, and I've always said this, and I'm going to repeat myself, that it is 70% diet and 30% some kind of workout regime, whether it is yoga, cardio, and I think it's pretty much the same thing that even Dr. Mosley also says. So I'm going to leave it to you now,
sure,
because he is the doctor. And I think he speaks beautifully, and what he says makes a lot of sense, and it stayed with me.
Thank you.
And he's also the man behind the Intermittent Diet. I don't know if you've heard of it, but I have. I've followed it. I've never done it, but I do want to do it. I really believe that the benefits are huge. The whole 5:2 kind of diet
yeah,
plan is wonderful, where you eat for 5 days and 2 days in between you fast, which is pretty much a philosophy of Ayurveda. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, absolutely right.
Yes, so it again comes from the whole Indian ethos of eating. Please tell us more about that.
Thank you. Yes, so I mean, what is fantastic is coming back to India after all these years, having been born here. And it's not just the sort of Indian foods that I embrace, but also many of the Indian practices, which have now scientists become very interested in fasting, intermittent fasting, also mindfulness, meditation, and I believe you teach yoga, and I'm going to ask her to show me some yoga poses soon. But any other fans of yoga here? We now know that yoga is again incredibly good form of exercise, but also good for the mind as well as the body. So I think that, if you like, modern science is slowly catching up with things that have been known here in India for a couple of thousand years. The only thing I would say, which is kind of bad at the moment, is that you guys are heading towards type 2 diabetes at a very fast rate. And I think it's important to find ways to correct that. Because one of the myths which is out there is that doctors have all the answers. And I'm afraid they don't. That a lot of your fate is in your own hands. And it's about discovering the foods and the lifestyle and the things which will restore you to balance. And that's really kind of what the programs I make are all about. And one of the things I always do is I do the experiments on myself. So the reason I got interested in nutrition is because 6 years ago I discovered that I was a type 2 diabetic, like my father. And I suspect like a lot of your fathers and mothers in this room, because almost everyone I've spoken to in India so far has a parent who's got type 2 diabetes. And the doctors will tell you that it is an irreversible disease and you have to keep on taking the medicines. And I can promise you that is not true. It is possible to reverse. I did the 5-2 diet, I lost 10 kilos. my blood sugars returned to normal, where they have stayed ever since. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm cured. And that is a message I want to take out
That's
there.
wonderful, Doc. That's very, very inspiring. And the fact that you are just not preaching, you are actually practicing what
Yes.
you preach, which I really think is essential. क्योंकि बहुत लोग होते हैं कि कहते हैं कि ये आपको करना चाहिए, ये करना चाहिए, लेकिन आप अपनी ज़िंदगी कैसे जी रहे हैं? आई थिंक सबसे ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है कि आप एक अगर आप हेल्थ पूरी तरीके से इंजॉय करना चाहते हैं, मैं लाइफ नहीं बोल रही हूँ, मैं हेल्थ इंजॉय करना चाहते हैं का इस्तेमाल कर रही हूँ, बिकॉज हम हेल्थ को क्या है बहुत एक एपैथी सा है हेल्थ को लेके कि जब तक कुछ हो नहीं जाता हम लोग हेल्थ को सीरियसली नहीं लेते हैं. व्हाट आई एम सेइंग टू देम इज दैट वी डोंट टेक हेल्थ सीरियसली टिल वी आर डायग्नोज्ड विद एन एलिमेंट. एंड बहुत ही अनफॉर्चुनेट बात है क्योंकि लाइफ इज़ गिवन टू अस फॉर फ्री, which is why I feel most people, don't know the value of it. तो ये जो एपैथी है हेल्थ को लेके और जो डायबिटिक्स हैं, अगर वो समझे कि वो रिवर्सिबल है और हो सकता है, अगर आप सालों से डायबिटिक है और बहुत ही हाईली डायबिटिक है तो ऑब्वियसली आपको डॉक्टरों का ज़्यादा मानना चाहिए. बट इफ़ यू जस्ट बीन डायग्नोज्ड विद डायबिटीज़ एंड you are obese, you can reverse it.
Yes.
So
even if you're not obese, some people.
Yeah. You weren't. I know.
I wasn't. I'm what's
Exactly.
called a toffee, thin on the outside, fat inside. Lots of fat in there, which is, I'm afraid, a lot of particularly Indian men, when they put on the fat, they put it on around the tummy, and that's the worst sort.
So I think most importantly, I think what you're trying to focus on is when you said mindful eating. I think most people don't do mindful eating. We just eat whatever comes to our mind, you just eat that. So mindful eating is one of the first to-dos on the list if you want to enjoy better health. And for me, I really feel it's also a lifestyle modification that I have made in my life.
Yes.
Doc, you are someone who is a trained nutritionist, you have your degree. I unfortunately haven't done all of that, but I believe that I have experimented on myself, and I feel very proud about the fact that I feel healthier, I feel more alive today than I was even 12 years ago.
Indeed, feel alive.
Feeling alive, really. And I have seen the difference that food has made to me, the timings have made to me. So it is a lifestyle modification that I have made in my life, which I'm trying to propagate, and you are doing the same with people.
So Shilpa and Doc, can you talk about some of the
Indeed,
foods
some of the foods. So let's have a look. Eggs. Who thinks eggs are good for you? Who thinks they're bad for you? So for a long time, doctors have been telling us to cut down the eggs because they have cholesterol, but now we know that eggs are really good for you. I have a couple of eggs most mornings for breakfast, and I find it fills me up.
Yes.
So there we go. Eggs are brilliant.
You talk about the yellow in the egg, that most people think that the yellow isn't very good. Even if you don't have cholesterol, they take out the yellow for some reason. I just feel that just kills the whole taste and the properties in an egg.
It's crazy because basically that is where all the goodness is.
Exactly.
Because it's there to feed the chick.
Explain that to people.
Bonkersness. The other one is, let's see what we got. We've got some nuts here. You're fond of nuts?
I love nuts. I am nuts. But
these are walnuts, but
I love nuts.
Again, people think, nuts perhaps are bad for you because they have lots of fat in them, but walnuts are fabulous, aren't they?
I think it's the best snack that you can carry.
Yep.
It's non-perishable for a really long time. In India, we have ants, so you have to make sure that it's like completely covered.
Now, I am guessing this is ghee.
No, I think it is.
Was it
Let
butter?
me smell it.
You gonna have a sniff? What do you think?
It's ghee.
Okay. What do you think about ghee?
I love clarified butter.
Any
And in India, you get a better version, which is white butter, before you make it into ghee. So it's got butyric acid, which is great. It works like, it prepares your gut to digest food. I love it. It's in all my food. I have at least 1.5 teaspoons or 2 teaspoons of ghee every day on my brown rice.
Okay, brown rice,
Yeah. Doc doesn't like rice.
No, I like brown rice. I just
Yeah,
think,
he likes brown rice.
Too much white rice.
yeah.
White rice is kind of like eating sugar.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's one of the bad things in the Indian diet.
Yes.
Too much white rice.
Yeah. No, true. But really, Doc, tell me, how much is the difference between, I think it would only be the fiber, or
Yeah.
is there that much sugar even in brown rice?
There is some, but it isn't so rapidly absorbed.
So the glycemic
white rice
index
is
is
like
lesser.
sort of consuming sugar, and we kind of know that sugar is not terribly good for you.
It's terrible.
White rice also has quite a lot of arsenic in it, so which is not terribly good. So you're much better off with lentils and with things like that if you can cut down or shift to brown rice. I have
Yes.
children, and what we did is they didn't like brown rice, so we just put more and more brown in it until eventually they kind of got used to it.
Subscribe and press the bell icon for latest update.